Good afternoon, good day. This is Danny Smith. This is What About Books, and I've got my co-host Hurdie Burke. Mention our sponsors. One is, and those sponsors are our businesses, Impact Mortgage and Hurdie Burke Consulting. So let's don't forget about what makes the world go around here. Hurdie, I want to talk today about just a few minutes about the book Platform, Michael Hyatt's book. This book came out back in 2011, 12. I'm looking here, 11, 12, 13, 11, 2012. I learned about this book on Twitter, and there's some kind of contest. I saw it. I had been reading back then about the book on the pre-launch. This was in the early days of authors. I think they were all learning how to do these launches with books. And somehow or another, I did something on Twitter and got a free book. It was a hardback free book sent to my house. And this book has been a mainstay of my marketing ever since, and all the classes that we teach through our leadership group and the guerrilla marketing that we were doing, what's now become what we call Stop Wasting Handshakes. A lot of that's built around this book Platform. You remember me talking about it back then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
What
talked about it a lot.
Yeah, and in reviewing, I haven't picked up the book in a number of years until we started talking about the class you're doing next week, and then the think tank that I'm leading after that, here at our office. Started putting together some notes for that think tank, and started, anyway, been thinking about this book Platform, picked it back up this week and started looking through the book. And there's some things in here I'd forgot about. And I'm just going to hit here for a minute the contents of the book. He talks about start with why or wow, prepare to launch, the 10 elements of the wow experience, building your home base, expand your reach, employ consistent branding, and then the last chapter of the book, engage your tribe. And I know he and what's the guy's name? Seth Godin. They were the early adopters to that whole tribe thing, I think, weren't they?
I think so. I mean, based on what you used to talk about it, yes, I believe so.
Yeah. What I remember and what I use the platform for the most from, though I'm going to be revisiting some other parts of this, he explains in this book how when somebody clicks on your YouTube, for instance, they go into YouTube and then they click to learn more about you, is that when somebody clicks on one of those links, it's very purposeful where I want them to land. I want them to land on my platform. That's the name of the book, Platform. What does it say? Platform, get noticed in a noisy world, a step-by-step guide for anyone with something to say or sell. And Michael Hyatt, I mean, I think I have some, well, maybe I don't. Thought I had some notes here about who Michael Hyatt. I mean, Michael Hyatt comes from the publishing world. He was with Thomas Nelson Publishing, has helped hundreds, maybe thousands of authors get launched. So he comes at this book with a wealth of knowledge of helping people get noticed. The thing I remember most about this, but let me say something. Let me back up for a second. What About Books is not normally a book review or a book summary. We're just talking about books. Been most engaged with this book is that the whole thing around a platform. So if somebody goes to my blog, They go to the bottom of my email signature. They go in my Twitter account, my Facebook account, my LinkedIn account. Ideally, and I don't do this really, really well, but on everything, is there's only one link where I want them to go. So they click that link. That link is to my platform. And then from there, there's other choices. They can read me, my about me. There might be a video. It's what Michael's saying. It's kind of what you're just saying is, but they land on a platform. They go to that. Let's say they go to they go from Twitter onto my platform, and then they go to Facebook. Then the link in Facebook brings them back to my platform to go to LinkedIn. And from LinkedIn, it comes back to the platform. So that's what he has promoted all these years. Now, I don't see, looked earlier, I don't see there's been an upgrade to this book. I think there's been a resurgence recently. Somebody's been resurging. Somehow or another, this book is becoming more popular again. But the idea is that you're only giving a person one choice. You give them too many choices, they don't choose anything. That's one of the things he says here, right? And you give them one choice, then they go in. Now for, I have a blog. I haven't done real good the past, especially I'm in the mortgage business, and we've been real busy. Been busy with more loans than we expected this last year, but on top of that, the mortgage industry, a lot of new guidelines, things because of COVID and overlays, and people being sure people are working and that are applying for loans. So we've had a lot of extra work to do, but I haven't been real good about my blog really in the last couple of years. I even changed a lot of my links to go to my LinkedIn page and let that be my platform where they can go in, they can read more about me, like my signature on my email. You know me, I'm real big about signatures on emails. I have a basic signature on my laptop screen email that's through Microsoft Exchange, where I can have a real pretty email with picture and all this. And then I have a separate signature that's on my phone. I got a lot of those ideas from Michael Hyatt and his book Platform and his Platform University that spun out of this over the years. And my link on my phone email is my my LinkedIn channel. So I use that as my platform, and there people can read. LinkedIn is not, I think people trust it. They go in, they know what to expect. I think most of my clients, people that I interact with and prospects, and they trust LinkedIn. So they go in, they're not concerned about something fishy going on in LinkedIn. That some people get a little weird about some people's sites. Probably going to be updating, doing some new blog posts and stuff, move back to my blog. And so the other things he talks about here, in the book is, and we've all heard this. Again, I think he was the first one to say it, but let me just say this: the book itself, just reading some things out of the promotional materials about the book. In the book, you learn how to create a compelling product, and actually, you create the compelling product. The product, he helps you how to make it compelling and how to package it with what he calls the wow effect. Then how to create an elevator pitch for the product. This is all that you're doing online. The elements of providing that wow experience. And part of that is blogging. And then he talks about some blogging mistakes to avoid, how to deal with issues of not enough comments or many. He's real involved with comments and getting comments. And I remember the early days back in 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. He was getting hundreds of comments on a day. It was incredible the amount of content, not just good content that he was producing, but engaging people and getting the content. You're real good with that. Yeah, I look at my stuff I post on online. I might get a comment here and there, and then you post, and you got 30, 40, 50, 100 people. I'm going, what is going on here? So anyway, he talks about how to deal with the issues of not enough comments or too many, how to protect your intellectual property without shutting out your readers. And, you got some acronyms in there, like think about PINC, PINC, with your product, giving it a memorable name, make a promise, create intrigue, identify need, and simply state the content. The 10 elements of a wow experience: surprise, anticipation, resonance. Did I say that right? Transcendence, clarity, presence, universality, evangelism, longevity, and privilege. This book, we're going to talk about some of this during the think tank. If you're listening to this beforehand, in the link here on the podcast, we'll put information to the classes, that we teach. But we do your class at least once a quarter. Is that right, Hurdie?
Yeah, I've done it 3 times already, or two times already this year. So yeah, we're in the quarter 3 coming up, starting in the end of this month. So yep.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
I know Austin was working on. Matter of fact, I think he's on the road today, and he was calling that agent up in your neck of the woods, getting ready for that class. So,
super. Awesome.
What about books? Listeners, I think books are an important part of helping us be well-rounded. I spoke at a group today at lunch and spoke about a book, Stuck in the Present. A author here in Austin recently launched that book. It was published back in May, and about stuck in the present and how we get stuck in the present. I really believe that the more we read, the less we're stuck in the present, especially history. The more we read, the more we're likely to read history. And I think one can lead into the other. So any comments, Hurdie, on this?
Well, yeah, I think going back to the top, if you got a minute.
Yeah.
I was kind of reading some of what he put on this general overview, and I think I tell people this all the time: a flashly website is not a platform.
Great point. Yeah.
Because so many people think that if they have a website, that if they can direct them to that, but that's not really a platform. A platform's where the people are at. And I think he kind of jumps in on that and talks about, well, Facebook was really hot back in 2012 and 14, still is, but really hot then. And when he wrote this, and I think the idea that he says, wow, content gets engagement. That's key point number 2, that really, really good content is going to get engagement. Now, it doesn't mean it happens right off the bat. You've got to build your presence, and you've got to be patient. I tell people, Danny, all the time when I'm marketing with their business, don't expect this to start tomorrow. You've got to prove to the world that you're willing to put the commitment in, to put the content up that people are actually looking for and pay attention to. You've got to find out within your product or service to make your platform successful. You've got to know where that audience is coming from, and you've got to go after it, because he compares that to saying at the top, Danny, that back in the old days, you had two kinds of toothpaste, and you had, and it was basically pretty easy for people to globally buy one or the other. But now there's 13,000 different types of toothpaste, right? And which one do you choose? And so how do you break through that noise to get yours in that top arena? That's the challenge of the platform, and learning how to direct people. Like you said, I loved what you said about directing people to a place, right, that they can lead to something else. Whether that offer is get this for this or whatever that is, maybe it's a couple video trailers on different sites that are directing people back to come download this and use this in your business, right? You can do that for product or service, and I believe you can do that B2B or B2C. Depends on what market you're in. So yeah, that's my observations, and this guy's awesome.
Yeah, he is. There's three. You said something that drew me back to this. The planks to your platform include everything from Twitter, Facebook, your blog, YouTube, your website, even traditional media. And learning how to weave all of these things seamlessly is an art unto itself. A good social media strategy has three components, and he uses the terms of home base, embassies, and outpost.
Yeah.
The home base is a digital property you own. The deal is, you don't own YouTube, I don't own LinkedIn. So them being, in Michael Hyatt's world, them being our platform, it shouldn't be. Embassies, places you don't own, but where you have a registered profile, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, places like that. In other words, you engage in conversation with those who congregate there. Examples include Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, other blogs you follow. Okay. Then outposts. These are places you don't own, nor do you have a regular presence. Instead, you listen to conversations about you, your brand, your company, or topics that interest you. And he there talks about Google Alerts and Hootsuite, and this content here might be a little bit dated. I'm going to look up and see what else he would call an outpost these days. But I think about that. We have Impact Mortgage Group, and then we have Impact Leadership. And our Impact Mortgage, that's pretty much there's a lot of compliance and legal issues around that and what that site looks like. But then inside that, we have a link over to Impact Leadership. And Impact Leadership, we give, and I'll put that blog or that web address down below, but in there, it leads into all of our training. And that's through a system called Kajabi. And Kajabi is a membership site. Now you look at it, it looks like a regular site, but it has a login page. That once you come to our classes, you get a login to that, and every class that you come to, if it's a class and you're in a profession where, we teach CE classes for realtors, CPAs, and financial planners. Some of them are the same classes, some of them are different classes, depending upon the profession. But there's content for each of those classes. Well, we used to have to send the content out. We create links in Google Docs or Dropbox or something. Now it's all posted there, and you can come back and download it. So every class is recorded in there, and that's a site we own. We own, we do pay a fee for that site, but in one sense, like you could have a WordPress site, you own it, but it's hosted somewhere. So that is hosted at Kajabi, and so that would be a home base for us. Now, my DannyLSmith.com site is my home base. And that's my platform, and people go there and they can go into they can land, for their typical 3 to 5 seconds, and then then they can jump somewhere else and stay within my world.
And I think what makes that cool for you guys, Danny, is that since you have that home base platform, you guys can control how you want to get people there with video trailers, this podcast, through your newsletter database, wherever that those people like this content delivered to them, and keeps you guys in front of their brain for mortgage, right? I mean,
Right.
so it's, you got ongoing education and you have the actual mortgage side of your business, which is really good, really good.
Right. Yep. Yeah, and we lead with education. Education is our marketing, and we market our education, and then providing that value. Just like you have thousands of posts that you give information away, and you train people. We kind of do the same thing, with our training and such. So, highly recommend this book. Some other chapter titles are Avoid Blogging Mistakes, Developing Your Landing Pages, Protecting Your Intellectual Property, Metrics to Pay Attention to, your unique visitors, your page views, your percent change, and your average number of comments per post. He talks about how to develop consistent branding, which is a real big deal, and then engaging your tribe.
And I would say the big key word in all this is that I think some people may miss this because they're not seeing this, they're hearing this, right? Is that notice he uses that the elements need to be a wow experience, not a boring experience, not a half butt experience, a wow experience. So you got to be thinking about the wow. You got to be thinking about what is going to wow the people that are engaged with me and want to follow me. What can I do to put the wow factor in there?
Yeah. I know a man that sold a business a couple of years ago, and their culture that was creating wow experiences in their culture, and they were in a manufacturing culture, and they sold that business for what some believe is a premium amount, and it was all because of the wow experience within the culture they tried to create with their team members, their clients, and even their vendors. And he's in an industry that normally people just beat their vendors up, but their vendors love them because they're always trying to create a wow experience. So great point, Hurdie, great point. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Let me say this. We are now on our third podcast, listeners, and they are recorded, but we do get them tightened up a little bit. We get them out on the Google Podcast and Apple Podcast platform. Danny's been posting those. So if you go on and look What About Books on Apple or Google Podcast platform, you'll find us. And we're on our third one, and we hope you guys will join us and listen in and follow us and download and tell some friends. We love that because we're slowly building it. So Danny, thank you. Good. One quick thing before we go out. This book is still relevant. The key things that he mentions are still relevant. This is marketing. Marketing doesn't go away because things change, right? People get really confused and think a whole new marketing strategy. Guess what? Marketing is still, how am I going to meet people? How am I going to get people into my arena, right?
Yeah. Some things never change. I think it was J. Conrad Levinson, the father of guerrilla marketing, that said that sales is asking for the check. Everything else is marketing.
We'll go out on that. That was awesome. So anyhow, we want to thank Danny L. Smith for his work. You guys come join us. Come check us out on Apple, Google Podcast platform, and that's What About Books. We'll see you guys next week with some more cool stuff from some of the books we like to read. Y'all have a great day. Good night. Goodbye, Danny.
Bye-bye.